Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good, Julian.
You are W5ABQ.
Yes, sir. N3JF. Good to see you back here at Anaheim. By the way, you got a big fan over in China. We had a customer come in the other day. He wanted your autograph.
Really?
Yeah, so I did a little.
Oh, you faked my autograph?
Yeah.
Like you do on my paychecks?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Anyway, you're a star over there in Beijing.
Ni hao ma.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, multilingual. Yeah.
Yep.
So today, we have a two-part video.
Okay.
So we're
Fantastic.
going to talk about Astron power supplies.
Yeah, one of our favorite vendors.
Because they are linear and switching power supplies.
Yep.
And they're also very local to us. So I went over to their factory and met up with the president of Astron. And we're going to insert that part of the video right now so you can see how these are made locally, not by machines, but handmade.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Julian Frost, N3JF from Ham Radio Outlet, and I'm here with Lauren Pachorowski. How are you doing, Lauren? And
doing well.
We're here at Astron Power Supplies. Astron makes everything here in Irvine, Southern California. So how long have you been here?
We've been at this location for 39 years, and this year will be 49 years in business.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Or 48.
Yeah.
48 years in business right now. So 2 more years, it'll make it 50.
And you do all the power supply production and repair here?
Yeah, we do all our production of the linear line of power supplies at this location, and we'll do repairs of all our power supplies here.
Excellent. So you're going to take us a quick tour around?
Yeah, we'll take you through a tour of our shop.
All right. Let's go take a look.
Okay.
So Lauren, here we are inside your production facility. What's the first stage? Where does the magic begin?
Well, this is our first part of production. This is where our heat sinks are initially assembled. They'll put the power transistors, the bridge diodes in this location.
So these
Those are the sockets for the power transistors, and these are the power transistors that are used in the heat sinks.
Excellent. And you buy them by the dozen, I see.
Yes, quite a few. So this is where this part would be assembled here.
Ah, okay.
And then after this, well, there. This is where the next section on this first part of our production is, where the wire harnesses are all manufactured or put together here.
And you got the Molex machines here.
Yes, we have the 2 Molex to do wire harnesses.
Awesome.
And then this is all our production ready wire harnesses for the different models that we have. So these are some of the wire harnesses for the output terminals before they are assembled into the chassis.
So everything gets pre-wired because it's easier to make the wire harnesses up outside of the case.
For these wires, yes, it's easier to do it outside the case before they're assembled. The next section is where we wire up the heat sinks. So this is kind of a pre-wire for the heat sink before they are installed into the chassis.
And this is all done by hand. You don't have any automation here.
Yeah, these are all soldered by hand.
Excellent. And then from here,
the chassis are assembled. So this is some chassis that have just recently been assembled.
and we can see all the wiring harnesses put inside. No transformers right now.
Yes, correct. No transformer. And this is one of the stations where they're actually doing the assembly. And that one's partially done.
And then,
And then we're doing some PC boards, stuffing some PC boards here, which is, another soldering station.
Good morning. How are you? So, excuse me peeking over your shoulder here. All right. Thank you.
The next step on our production would be the pre-wiring, where they will assemble some of the meters and connections of some of the transistors before they have a transformer installed. So that would be a pre-wired unit with all the components soldered up.
Let's go around there real quick and see the master at work. Good morning. Excellent.
And then from here, we would go to the station where we install the transformers. So this would be our...
Good morning. So is this the station where every transformer gets installed, so regardless of the size?
We have two stations, so most of the bigger stuff is done on this side, and the smaller stuff is done on another station on the other side of the shop.
And how many transformers do you get, for an order?
Deliveries will probably get 200 to 300 every week.
Every week, wow.
Yeah.
And it takes how long to if we were to start from the very beginning to the very end of production, how long would it take to?
We could produce one if we ran it through the shop really quickly, probably within 1 to 2 hours, start to finish.
Wow.
But most production will take anywhere from like 1 to 2 days to, on normal production, run it through the shop.
Right. So after the transformer, then what happens after that?
The next station we go to will be our final wire, which is over here on this line. These are some of the smaller ones that she's assembling or soldering up.
So now
the PC boards get installed.
And everything's now looking tidy and dressed up. Awesome.
And then these are some of the larger supplies that go in on this station.
It's a 50 amp right here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Massive transformer. And sneak over his shoulder. Good morning. Yeah. You do good work.
So this would be one of our other transformer stations.
Okay.
That's for some of the smaller power supplies.
Excellent.
After this, they go into, or after the final wire, they go into the test. So this is an RS-12A on a test bench.
And is this the test bench for repairs or for everything?
This we do everything, the regular testing and then repairs.
Excellent. Very cool.
So after the units are tested, they go into our packaging area where the covers are put on, and then they will be packaged into the boxes. This is more RS-12As that are completed.
Very cool. And then they go in the boxes, like you say.
Yeah, and then this goes through our packaging machine and through the boxes and end up going into some of our finished stock, put away into finish.
So you were saying that you recently got an order that started off as a large order and then doubled in size recently?
Yes, we got an order at was 300 at the RS-12As that got increased to 670.
Wow. And those all for out of country, right? 220
Yes,
volt?
they're all 220 volt input, and they're going out of the country.
Wow. Awesome.
So then after our packaging, goes into our shipping and receiving area, where everything is boxed up, and for UPS or FedEx, or palletized for larger shipments that would be sending out to the distributors and dealers.
Yeah, that looks like a good bunch of power supplies going out there now. Where are those going to?
This one is getting shipped to Mexico.
Mexico, wow. And you say they might show up at IWCE?
This company that are buying these do go to IWCE every year with a booth there.
Cool. And then you have some other toys I see at the back here. Nice little Porsche at the back.
Yeah, there's a couple. So this is some of our parts that we would use, boxes, one small chassis. These are the corrugated boxes for packaging. This would be some of the pallets of transformers that we have that come in.
And where do these come in from?
These are assembled in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico, okay. Excellent.
The chassis here on the pallets, these are all built here in Santa Ana.
Oh, wow.
We've used the same company for over 40 years. These are the pallets of the product, or of the chassis for the 670 that we're building.
And
this,
more.
This is more of our different model chassis.
Wow.
And this is just more of our parts that we have in stock of various parts, capacitors, heat sinks.
These are boxes of capacitors?
Yes.
Wow. How many capacitors do you go through in a year, would you think? I know I'm putting you on the spot there, but...
Probably about 20 to 30,000.
Wow.
And these are various heat sinks before they're assembled. And then here's more capacitors, some various components that we have in our stock room, trying to keep everything in stock, ready to be assembled.
Yeah. And of course, you're in Irvine, which is very close to Anaheim, which is my local store.
Yes.
So you were saying that shipping is kind of an issue?
Shipping costs have gotten so expensive, and since the Anaheim store is fairly close, we'll do deliveries there for that location.
Nice.
It's easy enough to bring them out there while we're doing some other errands and give you guys a break on shipping costs.
Oh, we appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Lauren, thank you so much. I really appreciate you showing us around. It's been really eye-opening, and it's great that a company has been in Southern California for so long and serving the ham radio and not just ham radio, but other electronics industries. So thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Take care.
Thank you.
That was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So
great
So
tour.
now that we've seen how they're made, let's see what we have here.
Yeah, today we're going to take a look at the linear and the switching power supplies that Astron offers. Been around since 1976.
Yeah.
Longtime partner
nearly
with the
50 years.
HRO.
Yeah.
And one of our favorite manufacturers and vendors. Great partner. And right here in Orange County. So we'll start with the linear. Oh, by the way, did you know what the power supply said to the amplifier?
No.
What's going on?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you fell for that one.
Oof, that's terrible.
All right. Okay, we're going to start with the linear models. I have one here on display. This is an RS50MAP. It's a big one. It does a lot of, can take a heavy load. And each of the linear power supplies, and I'll share with you the different models, they come with basically great protection, crowbar from over voltage protection, heat protection, thermal protection, and they each have heavy-duty heat sinks for that heat dissipation. These models are 13.8 voltage, and each model has different amperage, of course, but they can also be adjustable internally.
Oh, okay.
So 11 to 15 volts internally. Now, there are some models that will have variable knobs on the front, and I'll mention that in just a minute as well. But these are the linear models. We call them the desktop models, and some of them you can get them in the 220 volt if necessary. You can do that as well.
And in the video, we'll have seen actually a big pallet going out to, I believe it was Mexico.
Okay.
Where they're 220
Yep.
volts. So.
As far as connecting on the back of the linear, they have the screw-type posts with the nuts and ring terminals. Those are 1/4 inch 20 thread. You can use ring terminals for that. And then, of course, some of the newer models, as you can see here, with the RS50MAP, we've got 2 Anderson power pole connections on the front. These are the latest models. And this model, of course, has the M in the model number, which means meters are included, including amps and voltage. Okay. As far as the models go, they start as low as 4 amps. 4 amps, the RS4, and there is an RS4 with a cigarette lighter adapter receptacle as well. There's a 7 amp, 12 amp, 20, and 35. Probably our most popular would be the RS35. And that does a continuous 25 amps and 35 amp peak, which is great for most HF 100 watt. Gives you a little extra
headroom.
buffer. Yeah, headroom, yep. And then like this one, this is a 50 amp. You can see on both sides and the rear panel, lots of heat sink here to dissipate the heat. And then the big dog, of course, would be the 70 amp version of that. The most popular is the RS35, which does a continuous, as I mentioned, 25 amps. The dimensions about 5 inches by 11 by 11, weighs about 27 pounds. And the linear models, desktop models, they're not fan cooled. They're just, heat is dissipated through those heat sinks, okay? And then the models with the meters would be like the RS20M or mic, or RS35M, and RS50M, RS70M, okay? And then the other one would be the variable models, where we can adjust both the voltage and the amperage. And I believe it might go from 5 to 15 volts, something like that, if I remember right. And that would be the RS, like 35M AP, if you want the Anderson power poles included. So now, on the larger models, the larger amperage, the 50 amp and the 70 amp, there is a binding post on the rear panel that allows you to run the power supply in parallel. It'll run on so it's going to run on the same voltage if you connect it with another power supply, like another Astron, and they do have diagrams for this. So then you can actually increase your current that way through running parallel, if you hook it up correctly.
Yes.
So that's very, very important to practice some good safety. Now, we don't have it here, but we do offer would be the linear rack mounts as well. So it's worth mentioning 12 amp, the RM20, 35, 50, and 60 amp rack mounts.
So if you have like a repeater site or
Yep,
something with
repeater
a rack.
site. You got a nice bay type with the racks to go into. That's what they would be for.
Thanks.
All right, and then we have our switching power supplies. This is the newer generation.
These all tend to generally be much smaller than the
Yeah, smaller
physically
footprint. Smaller footprint. When they first came out a few years ago, of course, they've improved the filtering now.
Yes.
They were notorious for HF, high frequency noise, but they have really improved. And Astron does a great job of filtering. So these are the switching models, and this one over here near Julian, we have it's live. That's the SS, which stands for solid state. 50, and this one is the M because it has the meter with both volts and amperage. It also has two Anderson power pole connections as well as two USB connections, and then also in the back it has the manual or the wire connection on the back where you can just do bare wires and tighten it down.
And this one does have a fan.
It does have cooling fans for most of the switching models.
And this probably weighs, I don't know, 3 pounds maybe?
Yeah, that's about right.
So it's a really good solid power supply.
And then also, now these are adjustable, but it's not an internal adjustment. You might want to show our viewers. There on this side would be the voltage adjustment. Here on the side with the blade screwdriver. You can adjust the voltage there on the side.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And that's going to come in the 10 amp, 12 amp. 12 amp would be 12 peak, 10 amp continuous. The one over here on Julian's right is an 18 amper, which, by the way, you've got perhaps a VHF, UHF mobile radio that you'd like to turn into a base station. Perfect power supply for that application. Because a typical 50 watt VHF, UHF mobile radio is going to draw about 10 to 11 amps. So this would be a great switching power supply. Small footprint. And
again, adjustable?
No, this one's not. This one's not.
Okay,
It's just
it's
cut
got a
for
blank across here.
Yeah. The higher currents are adjustable. That's the 18. There's also the 25 solid state, 30 amp, 50, and all those are fan cooled as well. So, and I have here an SS30 with the Anderson power poles.
Let me grab that real
But
quick.
this one does not have the meters. So some people prefer the meters, some don't. Some like that reassurance that 13.8 volts there, and they want to see the amperage, and so that's understandable.
Okay.
But in most applications, you don't always need a meter.
And this one has two USB.
Yeah, two USB.
chargers. Wow.
Yep.
Charging ports.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, very neat.
So one of the differences mostly with the switching and the linear would be cost. The linears are typically going to cost more.
Why would somebody get a linear over a switcher?
Well, for some it's traditional. They like the weight of it. They like the transformer that's there, physical transformer that does the rectifying and dropping down the voltage. And so it's kind of like this is the more traditional power supply. I have a couple of these myself.
I do too.
But I also have a couple of these now.
I also do.
So
as well.
I'm kind of like overlapping here.
And the really good thing about these is I've had an RS50, so a 50 amp power supply. I've had it for 40 years.
Yes.
It's been on every day of those
Yes.
40 years, and
Yes.
I got it secondhand.
Yep.
So these things last
They do.
forever.
They do. The linears are known for that. They're basically a lifetime power supply. And I'll tell you, here at the store, we have an RS35 that we use to run about 8 radios. Of course, we don't transmit on all
Right,
at the same time, but for receiving, we do. So cost, the switching power supply is going to be slightly less, less footprint, right? Less heat is generated with the switching power supply, and as far as the being notorious for the RF noise or HF noise, it's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
You can really trust these devices these days.
Yeah.
So I have both. I use both, and I really don't have a preference over each one. It's hard to let go.
It is.
You know.
They keep the house a little bit warm also. So,
Yeah.
and now we have somebody drilling outside.
Hang on to the old, or grab on to the new.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. But that's mostly the comparison between the two. And we have a very large volume of Astron power supplies available at our stores, all of our 12 brick and mortar stores, and we keep them in stock regularly. So whatever fits your application or your need, we can connect you with the right Astron power supply.
And support from them is really, really good.
Each power supply comes with a 1-year warranty as well.
Yeah.
So, yep,
Excellent.
those are the Astrons.
Well, Jeff, Astron Power Supplies.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good to
All
see you
right,
again.
we will see you on the next one.
Yes, sir.
We'll have to put our heads together and think what we're going to do on the next video.
All righty. Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care, guys. 73.
73.